Hey there. We are live today, Speakers Magazine show, and we have a guest today that was featured in the issue of September, none other than Dr. Janet Lockhart-Jones. You can go to speakersmagazine.com and actually read the full story. I'm not going to read it all because this page is coming to life because she's actually here. She's actually here in the studio. So, right after this, we're going to bring up Dr. Janet Lockhart-Jones, and she is leading the charge for women in corporate America. She'll talk to you about that right after this. So before I bring her up, let me just tell you a little bit about her. So Dr. Janet Lockhart Jones, she is the authentic power doctor, right? Professional development and mindset coach. She is helping female leaders overcome imposter syndrome. So we'll talk about that and find fulfillment. So one of the things that she has a lot of letters behind her name besides the doctorate degree, but she's also really skilled at um, doing assessments. I think it's DISC and all these kind of things. And she's super smart, but she's got a new title now as well. She is the inaugural president of Miss Corporate America, Texas. She also is the founder, CEO of Project Partners Consultant, which is now uh, LockhartJonesConsulting.com. And she's been a consultant doing leadership organization for real, in her corporate Fortune 500 company career. So that's enough about her. Like I said, you're going to read about her in Speakers Magazine, but we're going to bring her to the stage right now. How are you?
Hey,
Hey.
hey, Dr. Pam. I am so excited to be here. We have talked extensively over the past year or two. I've been featured on a few of your magazine covers and
Yeah,
articles. We finally get to chat.
I'm
Thank you so
so
much for the opportunity.
I love it. I love it. And so one of the things is that I can see that you're doing very strategic work and it's around a particular area. It's about a niche that you are passionate about. So before we talk about who you do this work for, I want to know like why you're doing this type of work. What kind of sparks you to go into this area? What was in your career and your background that said, you know what, I'm gonna step out of corporate and do this type of work?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, back in 2004, I was actually working for a consulting firm, and there was a lot going on in their financial world, etc. So, at that time, there were some changes. So, I decided to just step out on faith and become an entrepreneur. I had done
Mm,
coaching and training and consulting for so many organizations. I decided, well, why don't I do my own thing? I
yeah.
always wanted to try out the world of entrepreneurship. So in 2004, I started Project Partners Consulting Inc. And the work that I was doing a lot of subcontractor work also, but it was still under my company name, Project Partners Consulting Inc. So because of the proximity to which I live with respect to the Silicon Valley, I had a lot of high tech clients. And before I jumped into actually the work that I do now, I was doing a lot of work for Fortune 500 companies in the Valley, helping project leaders, helping project managers learn how to organize and plan these large high tech projects. A lot of people don't really know that about my background, but I spent quite a few years just servicing and working with high tech firms. I would say maybe about 8, 9 years ago, I decided that since even back when I was in undergrad, I knew that my passion was to work in organizations, but more so how to to understand what made organizations tick. So my focus was on organization behavior. Why do people behave as they do in organizations, right? Boy, if I had the exact reason for that, I'd probably be a bazillionaire by now. And so that um, inquiry sort of led me to sort of shift gears about 7 or 8 years ago and just focus on leadership, leadership development, and more recently, female leaders, high potential female leaders. Because, and I can tell you this, Dr. Pam, the work I do now has its roots and foundation in what I experienced as an upcoming female leader. You know, when you introduced me, you talked about imposter syndrome. And there's also this notion of toxic productivity and toxic perfectionism. And I started working with women because, especially when I started doing a lot of coaching, started working with primarily leaders, but in some cases, men too, who didn't feel like they were enough, who didn't feel like they were being validated by these external factors that they always thought was important.
Right.
So the work that I do now, and really why I call myself the authentic power doctor, is because I really enjoy and am passionate about helping women to get rid of these irrational beliefs and this imposter syndrome, and recognize that looking for validation outside of yourself can
Mhm.
just really drain you and wear you down.
Mhm.
And we as women, especially women who are educated and successful, oftentimes we still look for external validation. And in doing so, often suppresses our own inner wealth and our own inner power.
Mhm.
And
Do
so,
you think do you think it's generational in
ooh,
terms of, so say for instance, I am the first person to go to college in my family, to graduate from college in my family. My mother was a housewife. And
mhm,
so really I didn't have a role model of anybody of what it looked like that
yeah,
looked like me in corporate America.
yeah.
So how is your background? Are you the first one in your family to go to college or to get an advanced degree? Uh,
Um,
you know,
I
for
probably,
African Americans, it hasn't been that long. I mean,
yeah,
civil
I
rights
would
era was in the 60s.
Yeah, I would say on my side of the family, my mom and dad's side, I am. And but I'm happy to say that my nieces, my sister's daughters, they all have bachelor's and master's degrees. My daughter is a doctor of veterinary medicine. So I'd like to say I paved the way because they were my little young
Yeah,
nieces,
yeah.
and nephews when I was going through my educational process. So I do hope that I was somewhat of a mentor and a role model for them.
Mhm,
You asked me if I thought it was generational. And here's what I have seen by it through my coaching of many women who come from primarily for-profit companies.
mhm,
They have been successful, but they often feel like they're not successful enough or it's not real. Let me give you specific examples. I was coaching this one woman who works for a very successful technology firm, and she selected me as her coach. She was a woman of Asian descent and very successful by all means, right? Had been on an upward trajectory ever since she's been with the company, etc. Her company decided to put a percentage of middle managers and senior levels through coaching. Okay, so they were offered options. She selected me. The first thing that her company did was required a 360-degree feedback assessment. All right, so she sent out her assessment links to raters, and to her credit, Dr. Perry, she chose 25 raters, which is I've seen folks 3, 7, but she decided she wanted to ask direct reports, her boss, her skip level boss,
Yeah.
clients, customers, etc. So when I saw her report of 25 raters, I'm like, this is going to be some really great stuff. So we got the report, and now we're in the session and we're walking through it, right? Halfway through the walkthrough, she just starts crying. Now, this is a professional corporate woman. She just starts crying. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here?
Right.
Because her 360 was the envy of probably a zillion other people who have received 360s. I mean, it was overwhelmingly positive. People took time to write qualitative feedback,
Hmm.
not just do the numbers. And it really spoke to how valued she was inside the organization, what her direct reports felt about her leadership, et cetera, et cetera. It was just a wonderful 360, because trust me, I have seen quite a few that, I had to bring out the tissue box for some folks, but for
Hmm.
different reasons. But for her, I thought at first she was crying happy tears, but it wasn't. And so when I inquired more, this is what she said. She said, I don't believe this data. And I said,
Wow.
yeah, that's exactly what I said.
So
Wow.
so everybody's just like just
Right.
really kind of like
Just
blowing the
exactly.
skirt
Just
up.
blowing smoke, right? Just
Yeah.
made this up. And I said, okay, you have to tell me more. And this is what she said, which goes to your generational question. She said, growing up, I never received any kind of positive affirmation
Oh,
in my family from
so
my
she's
parents, from aunts, etc. She
wow.
never felt like she was good enough or enough. So every achievement she had accomplished was not enough. She kept telling herself, it's not enough. And she told me, she says, how is it that these people who've known me maybe for only 2.5 years can say these things about me, and people who have known me all my life, my family, the ones who matter most, have never said any of these things?
Mhm. And
So
it's
to you,
probably because one of the things is that sometimes in certain cultures, giving compliments is not what they feel would make you grow, but criticism or being critical.
right.
So being very, very critical. I think I can't remember what movie that was. I
Mhm.
want to say it was Aquila and a Bee. So I'm dating myself
It could
way
be.
back, way back. And it was a Asian family who they were like so hard on their
You know what? I
son to
remember
win
that. I
to
remember
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
and I think it was, uh, I can't think of her name, but the black girl actually, Keela, she was the one that won it, but it showed just how structured they were. It's like you will not get a compliment, you will only get criticism because you think it's gonna grow. So when her report came back that she had nice things to say, she probably did have a meltdown because she never heard that
It's
before.
never heard it.
Oh
And
my
that's what
gosh.
I have learned. And even when I do leadership training for Fortune 500 and Fortune 1000 companies, we do a lot of assessments in there as well. And there's also a lot of work with respect to feedback. And what I have found is that men and women find it difficult to receive feedback, even if it's positive.
Mm,
And with men specifically, where I have probed, they have often said, well, my father never gave me positive feedback, or we didn't hug, or it was just this, just get up, go to work, boop, 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 boop. So even getting feedback in a classroom setting of other corporate professionals amongst their peers, it's still uncomfortable
mhm,
for
mhm.
both men and women. So the work that I do today, the work that I'm passionate about, has led me to take over the as president of Miss Corporate America,
Mhm.
which I'm
Mhm.
super excited. In fact, I was in a president's meeting right before we started because of that. It's just another avenue of my mission
Of
to
leadership.
empower, to
Mhm.
elevate, to uplift professional women so that they can be the best version of themselves and they stop looking for external validation and they can wake up in the morning every day and say, I am more than enough.
Mhm.
I
You're more
remember,
than a title. More
yeah,
more
more
than
than a
more
title.
than a title, more
Uh,
than just
yeah,
what your work is.
exactly. And see, the
Mhm.
people coming to Miss Corporate America, because what folks don't know perhaps about Miss Corporate America is that we're very different from other pageants in that Miss Corporate America is a celebration of the mature professional woman, which
Mhm.
is why women, in order to be in our pageant competition, they have to be between the ages of 30 and 65.
Mhm.
We're
Mhm.
not looking for women straight out of college, women who
Mhm.
are still trying to build a career. We're looking to celebrate and elevate ordinary professional women who have accomplished some extraordinary things under the radar. And we tell them this is your opportunity to share your brilliance, your boldness, your badness with the world on a statewide stage. And if you're the state winner, then you can get that same opportunity to elevate your message, your mission, and your passion on a national scale.
Mhm. That is good. That is
There is
that's what
no other pageant like Miss Corporate America.
and
It
you got involved in it because you really saw that it can help when women are elevated or put on that type of platform, that it helps the imposter syndrome, that it will
yes,
pull
it
them out
does.
of their shell. As a
Yes,
publicist, one of the main things that I find is that people will come to a publicist and they want to have that shine, but then it's like, I said, okay, let's go. And then they step back. It's like, no, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet. And it's like, yeah, you're ready. You're ready. What else do you
right.
need? Oh, I need another degree. Oh, I need another certification. Oh, I need to
Right.
lose 10 pounds. Oh, I need to color my hair. Oh, it's all these excuses. And it's like, you are more than enough. And so, really, sometimes, and I just say this too, because the life coaching field or just coaching field is so growing now. It's just
Yeah.
like a proliferation of so many.
Yes.
But
Exactly.
it used to be that we could go to our friends and our friends would
Yeah.
authentically tell us certain things like this is what you
Right.
need to do, girl, or you're not really living up to your potential. I see more. So friends would tell that, but I think because of the social media, it has made it so that people are talking and they're just looking or lurking. And so now you've got that comparison trap, where people are looking, and
Yes.
so then they feel imposters, like, "Oh, I don't have as much going on." I'm like, "But it's just a highlight reel. It's not the real person. You need to talk to
Right.
people."
Right. Exactly. And one of the things when I'm coaching, one of the things that I help my clients through is separating fact from fiction. With
That's good.
imposter syndrome, we tell ourselves from the context of what we feel. And oftentimes there's no basis of fact. You gave just a great example. Oh, I think I need another degree because I haven't got this promotion. Or I need to get another certification.
And they're
Or
already doing the work.
exactly. And another reason that I will share with you is because, I've often felt like I was not good enough because, and this is what I wrote about in my most recent book, Stories from the World's Greatest Leaders, which I'm happy to say we made it to Amazon bestseller. Stories
Okay.
from the World's Greatest Stories from the World's Greatest Speakers. It was an anthology. And I wrote a chapter, 11 to 12-page chapter, and it was titled From Stuttering to the Big Stage.
Mm,
Because I grew up as a stutterer,
wow.
always feeling like I can't. raise my hand when the teacher calls and say who has the answer. No, I was never the first, second, or third to raise my hand. I never wanted the limelight because I felt like because of my stuttering, I would
Mm-hmm.
be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm. My
Definitely.
coach, my coach is he said that he stuttered
Yeah,
and he didn't want to do any kind of career that would have to do with speaking. So he
speaking.
wanted to be an engineer, right? So he wouldn't have to be in front of people. Well, years later, God will have it that now he makes most of his money by speaking and writing and coaching, right? So
Yes,
it happens where the one thing that you don't want to do, or the one thing that was the thing that wasn't like the best
yeah,
situation, actually becomes like that thing that spurs you to go forward into your purpose. And I
exactly.
can find that with every speaker. I mean, from Les Brown, where he
Yeah,
was labeled special ed, to uh,
exactly.
Lisa Nichols, and she was very, very, in poverty and that kind of thing. I mean, there were like situations in a lot of our lives that it's
Right.
kind of like you can pinpoint some of the things. It's like, you know what, that's probably going to be the thing that is really going to propel me into my purpose. And so I like
Absolutely.
that chapter. That should actually be an entire book too, by the way. I'm just going
Yeah.
to
Well,
say.
I do have another book coming out. It's not going to be on stuttering and speaking, but it's really going to chronicle my 25 plus years as an organizational consultant and trainer. Some
Oh,
critical observations. And
hmm,
so that book is in the works. I'm
I love
aiming
it.
for it to come out on my birthday, November 8th. So we're sort of
Okay.
in the final stages. I never thought that I always knew I wanted to write a book, but I never thought that I would actually enjoy writing and telling my story. But there's a colleague of mine. She lives over in London. We never met, but we met through another organization via Zoom. And we've been communicating back and forth for like 5 years. And
Wow.
she's always told me, Janet, one of your greatest gifts is in storytelling.
Hmm.
And so, when I wrote the chapter in Leadership Experience Tour presents the stories from the world's greatest speakers, um, it was a story and it was a personal story. And the thing is, had I left that impediment control me,
Hmm.
fool me, I never would have felt like I was good enough. So now I don't care what the stage is, I'm ready because I've just felt I have this inner wealth, this inner confidence that if I stutter, so what? That's the authentic me.
Hmm.
Right? It doesn't detract from my message. It doesn't detract from who I am. It doesn't take away from all of the degrees and certification I have. It's just a part of who I am. And that's why, this moniker that I've adopted, the authentic power doctor,
Hmm.
that's what I do. I try to help people heal from harming themselves, from allowing their mind to bring to life these limiting beliefs and
Hmm.
these self doubts and these messages that they tell themselves that keeps them from being the brilliant person who they really are.
And that's true. That's one of the main things that we have to have the affirmations. It's like a little tape recorder in our head that says you
Yes,
can't do this, you
yes,
can't do that. But you need to just replace that bad habit with a good habit that say, yes, I can. And even if you're Christian, you can say the I am scriptures, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You can
right.
do that, or just positive words. That's
Absolutely.
really important. You were in the September issue. This one here, it talks about being the Miss Corporate America, and then you have some events coming up too as well. What you
Yes.
have, yeah.
Yes. So there's several things. The actual Miss Corporate America competition for Texas is April 18th, 2026.
Okay.
The casting calls and interest calls are the casting call is open now.
Okay.
It will be open probably till mid-December. The competition will be held in Houston, Texas. And I am actually recruiting from all over the state of Texas. Now, everybody knows how big Texas is,
Woo,
right?
Texas, everything is big
So
in
I
Texas.
want contestants from Fort Worth, Dallas, Houston, Corpus Christi, San Antonio, Beaumont, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Miss Corporate America is representative of all races, ethnicities, et
Mhm.
cetera, et cetera. And what, like I said, the competition seeks to elevate and give professional women a platform to share their passion, their message, and their mission. And there's a bunch of other really nice stuff that they get. In addition to speaking engagements, my current Miss Texas 2025 was on Texas Today, the morning show,
Mhm.
along with Ms. Mamapreneur. So we give them those media opportunities as well. They can promote their business, their book, whatever the case may be.
So
So
people can go to the
every
mhm.
Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, there are casting calls. They can just go to texas.mscorporateamerica.com, texas.mscorporateamerica.com.
I
If
posted it there so that way they can have it. Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, the work that I do individually with women is so important. I have a signature coaching program on my website under coaching. It's called The Power of First. The
Okay.
Power of First. It is a 6 to 12 month journey to prioritizing oneself, one's mental health, and for leading a fulfilling life. So we go through a plethora of activities that really help the clients to unlock all the brilliance that's
Mhm.
inside of them,
And
right?
October is a month, I wanna say it's not Mental Health Awareness Month, but mental depression. It talks about depression, but depression awareness because a lot of
Yes,
high achievers suffer from depression. But it
yes,
also talks about being a mental health uh, check-in, doing a mental
yeah,
health check-in. So
absolutely.
October is really an important month to do that. October, November, we got the last quarter of the year. So to focus on your well-being is really, really
Yes,
important and your mental health. And that's one of the things that you help people with as well.
yes,
Want to make sure
absolutely.
that people go to Lockhart-Jones Consulting.com, and you said they can hit the tab there and just stay connected with you by you have signing up for your
Right.
I think you have an opt-in gift that you have people that they can download as
Yes,
well.
there's some free resources focused on mental health because I am certified in mental health first aid. I
Hmm.
am a
Good.
mental health educator, and I believe I will be receiving an award in DC. I'm sorry, in Las Vegas in December for the work in the education that I've done in the area of mental health.
Ah,
Hugely passionate about mental health, as a person who has had some mental unwellness, has experienced some mental unwellness at a time in her life, as a person who's also a cancer survivor, as
mm,
a person who's also has been a caregiver for family members over 90. So dealing with all of that has really gave me a tremendous appreciation for how important mental wellness is. In fact, when I was at the Mamapreneur event in Dallas this past Saturday, they impaneled a group of women, all different. There was a practicing psychiatrist, psychologist. There was another woman who had started. She was a salon owner, but she also developed wigs for children with cancer. And there was
mm,
just a lot of different platforms and messages that the women talked about. But I remember, I can't remember her name, but I remember the the psychologist. I think believe she had a PhD in psychology, and she was a practicing therapist. And one of the things she said, which is something that I try to tell folks all the time, She says, no matter what you have accomplished, how much money you have in the bank, how big a house you have, if you're not mentally well, the amount, and I'm just paraphrasing, but the amount of enjoyment you're going to get out of those things is minuscule.
Mhm.
Your
Mhm.
mental health is everything to
Mhm. That's
living
true.
a fulfilling life,
I
right?
love that. That is
Yeah.
so true. That is so true. So LockhartJonesConsulting.com, people can go there. And one of the main things is that they will, what the kids say, she will help you get yourself all the way together, right? We're talking
Oh,
like that
yeah.
whole thing. So it's a 360 where your everything is just in alignment and getting in
Yes.
alignment. And then we always need coaches. You have coaches for everything. I mean, if you want to be better in the area, you need to have a coach. And
Yes.
even like Michael Jordan, they all have coaches. And so they couldn't be the best they could be without a coach. And so I just have Dr. Janet go to Lockhart Jones Consulting, Janet Lockhart Jones, but LockhartJonesConsulting.com. Go there and then download the free gifts. Stay connected. Go to the other site as well, where we were talking about that one too. If you're interested on that, every Wednesday,
Yes.
Texas.MissCorporateAmerica.com. So make sure that you do that as well, because that is one of the keys of when we bring the pages to life from Speakers Magazine. You can kind of
Yes.
hear their heart as well. So
Yes.
go and read this and share it and stay connected. I always say those that show up go up. So find out where she's going to be and try to head there as well. So, Dr. Janet, thank
Absolutely.
you so much for joining Speakers Magazine today. This
Oh,
has
thank
been really,
you.
really good.
Thank you for all of your support. The PR work you do is fabulous. And I'm telling you, if you're a speaker and you want to get your name and your image out there, and you want to be on the cover of a magazine and write a nice article, Dr. Pam Perry.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pam
Thank you.
Perry is
And
with
in the show notes is this story too, the last story that we did too. That's in there
yes,
as well. So I make sure we put that in there.
speakersmagazine.com. Yes.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you.
you
All
so much
right.
for this, Dr. Pam. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you. Thanks for joining us.
Of
And I will
course.
talk with you later. All right. Bye
Okay.
bye.
Bye-bye.